Here are the teams that have started the season winless. There are 9 of them. At least one 0-2 team has made it to the postseason 7 of the last 10 years. And Charean, we're still early in the 17-game experiment. Not that it's an experiment, it's here to stay. But I know how 0-2 felt with 16 games. I still don't quite know how it should feel with 17 games. One more opportunity to finish the process of digging out of the early season hole. So I don't think it's the emergency that it used to be. 0-3, yes. 0-2, you're still okay if you can get past it and just focus on the task at hand of getting that first win.
Yeah, and I look at these teams, though, Mike. I'm like, there's not many of these that really have a true shot at the postseason, but there are a few.
All right, so let's take a look today via draft at the 0-2 teams in whom we have the most faith. I'll give you the first pick. Give me one of the winless teams. We know which 2-0 team you have the most faith in. We've already discussed that. Which 0-2 team do you have the most faith in?
Well, I'm going to go with the Chargers. They do have must-wins in their next 2 against the Vikings and Raiders, because then it's the Cowboys and the Chiefs. As we saw in the graphic, their 2 losses are by a combined point total of 5. So they've been in both games. They're the 33rd team in the Super Bowl era with 50-plus points and no turnovers through 2 games to start 0-2. They're better than their 0-2. I know Bill Parcells, I heard him say it many times. You are what your record says you are. This team's better than that. Brandon Staley's on the hot seat. I think they get it turned around. Whether they make the postseason or not, I don't know. But I do think this is a team that's going to contend for a postseason berth.
Now, my confidence or lack thereof in an 0-2 team has to be influenced by where they are. Like the Patriots, like it's Bill Belichick, but they're in a tough division with a really tough schedule. So that was the first team that jumped out at me. I don't have confidence in a lot of them. I'll say of these remaining teams, the Bengals, once they get Joe Burrow's calf right, and they may not get his calf right all year, but for me, that's the key. I'm not worried at all that they're 0-2. I'm worried about his health. 0-2 doesn't faze me. It didn't faze them last year. They almost made it to the Super Bowl starting 0-2. So I'll go Bengals with that asterisk. If that calf's a problem all year long, that's a far bigger concern to me than the fact that they haven't won a game yet.
Yeah, they were going to be my second pick, Mike, for all the reasons that you stated. And there was just a report that came out by NFL media, Mike Garafolo, that there are indications that Joe Burrow's calf is feeling better. He is scheduled to talk to the media on Thursday, so maybe it's starting to heal and get back to what it was. Burrow is 0 for 12 on plus 15-yard passes this season. He's just what we were talking about with George. He's got to get that ball to Jamar Chase and give him some chances down the field. So for my second pick, since you took the Bengals, I'm going to take the Broncos simply because of the reasons that we talked about. Sean Payton. They've lost 2 close games. They haven't been able to close out games. They've lost their 9th consecutive game when they've led at halftime. That's an NFL record. So they've got to figure out how to play better in the second half. I think Sean Payton will figure that out. Whether they make the playoffs or not, I think he's going to establish something here with this team.
I'm reluctant to do this. Now, I will say this about the Broncos. Look at their schedule before you develop too much faith in them, because they should have won these first 2 games. It gets a lot harder as the season unfolds. I'm going to say the Vikings, even though I don't have much faith in them. I don't have much faith in any of these teams. We know the Vikings have a very potent offense. Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson have gotten off to a great start, even though they're 2-0. The defense is better, even though they're 0-2, But they got to get a win. I think one of the most important games this weekend is Chargers-Vikings, because 0-3, much more difficult to turn that around, especially because the Vikings have the Chiefs up next. No, is it the Chiefs week 4? No, it's the Panthers. They got the Chiefs looming. But you got to get, you need to get that 0 off of the front end of your 1-loss record. We got one more pick each. We'll do that when we wrap up this Wednesday edition of PFT Live right after this. All right, one more pick each. 0-2 teams in which we have the most faith. Charean, who do you have?
Well, it doesn't say faith in to win this year or faith in to make the playoffs, so I'm going to have faith in for the future. And I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. They have their quarterback. Guess what? Right now, today, after 2 games, their quarterback, C.J. Stroud, the number 2 overall pick, is better than Deshaun Watson, the guy they shipped out. He's 4th in the NFL with 626 yards. He's completed almost 64% of his passes. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's been really good, Mike. They have their quarterback.
Sims and I talked about this recently. It's possible the Carolina Panthers just picked the wrong guy in Bryce Young and should have taken Stroud or Anthony Richardson. I'll go with the Patriots just because there's no one else, and it's Bill Belichick, and maybe they'll get better and steal a win or 2 and find a way in, but it's not going to be easy, not in that division and not with that schedule. That is it for today. Charean, great job. Everybody else, thanks for some of your time. We'll see you tomorrow. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.